Hey friends, Ash here. Hope that you're doing well. Today I'm going to be sharing with you guys 10 of the absolute best compliment pulling fragrances that have insane staying power. Just some of the longest lasting fragrances that you can get that still have that mass appeal. But before we talk about those 10 fragrances, I do want to share with you what is quite possibly the best of all time in this category. Just unmatched, unparalleled. Here it is. It's beautiful. Wow! Ooh, ow, ooh. Sorry, screen thing. Kind of slammed into that light over there. That's the best, but these are the rest of the best. All of them are gonna be linked in the description below. Feel free to check them out. We're gonna get started with a new fragrance, an absolute favorite of mine, Scandal Absolu from Jean Paul Gaultier. This stuff is surprisingly strong. Now, don't get me wrong, this isn't the type of fragrance that you spray it on and you go, oh, you know, it's weak or anything like that, but it's stronger than you would even anticipate. It's got a really simplified, dumbed down note breakdown, basically just Mirabelle Plum, sandalwood, and chestnut. So a whole whopping 3 notes in there, but smells absolutely fantastic. It has kind of like a caramel sweetness to it, a nice deepness and richness. It's quite bold, attention grabbing, a massive compliment puller, and it lasts forever off my skin. Now, the original Scandal for Men and also Scandal Le Parfum are both great choices also, and those would fit into this list as well. But if I was gonna suggest, you know, just one of them, the one that I think is the absolute best, if this is the type of fragrance you're looking for, it's this one. Absolutely fantastic, a great release, one of the best of 2024, and thankfully, not too difficult to find now at discounters and also retail. So Scandal Absolu, you gotta know about this stuff. And it works for pretty much anybody. Younger guys can pull it off very easily. And even though it's quite sweet, older guys can pull it off too. Before we head to the next fragrance, guys, here are some codes you can use to save money across different websites. And be aware, the JOMASHOP codes are gonna be doing a change. They only work within the app, and that's not changing, but the codes themselves are. So these new codes go live January 18th, and they run until March 1st. The codes are GS10, which will get you $10 off orders over $180, GS15 for $15 off orders over $250, GS30 for $30 off orders over $500, GS60 for $60 off $1,000 plus, and GS100 for $100 off orders over $3,000, which if you buy that many fragrances, bro, that's a lot. But those changes are going into effect, so be aware of that, and all the other codes stay the same for all the other websites that you see here. All right, on to the next fragrance, which will be this one, Y Le Parfum from Yves Saint Laurent, which has a lot of similarities to the very popular Y Eau de Parfum. Not that Y Le Parfum isn't popular, because it is, but yeah. So like I said, a little bit similar to Y Eau de Parfum, not quite as sweet as that one, but it still does have a decent amount of sweetness to it. It's a little bit more grown up, slightly more mature than Y Eau de Parfum, and last an eternity for a blue style fragrance. This is like that perfect balance between aromatic and classy, you know, a little bit elegant on one side, but then on the other side, a little sweet, touch playful. It's got both of those things going on at the same time, and that's what makes this so versatile, so appealing. At the end of the day, if all you're really after is compliments, you can kind of just like throw a dart at the Y line of fragrances and just pick one, and it's probably gonna work really well for you. Whether we're talking the original Y Eau de Toilette, the Eau de Parfum, this one, Y Live, even Y Elixir, Y Eau de Parfum Intense, honestly doesn't matter that much. Just pick one, it's gonna work for you. But if I were suggesting one, again, that's gonna have great versatility, a little bit more skewed toward fall and wintertime use, but still great versatility, that has amazing longevity and that compliment factor, be this one, Y Le Parfum. Let's go next with Azzaro's The Most Wanted, and this is the Parfum iteration, or Le Parfum. Another one with a simplified note breakdown, red ginger, incandescent woods, and vanilla. That's your note breakdown, and this is another one, fall and winter time, absolutely killer. And kind of like I've suggested over here with some of the others in these lines, The most wanted Eau de Parfum Intense, the one that's all blacked out, that one also would be a great choice. But if you're looking to just absolutely maximize the longevity of the fragrance, I would check out that one. Just a touch of fresh spice off the top with that red ginger, a little hint of smoke, like way in the background that occasionally wafts through, this little touch of like an incensey wood. Again, very light with that, not overwhelming. And then a bunch of vanilla in there, bourbon vanilla. Enormously appealing, huge compliment puller, and a little bit similar to fragrances in the Stronger With You line, you know, kind of in that overarching style. So if you like that line, which maybe one of those will come up later in today's video. But if you like that line, you'll probably like this a whole heck of a lot too. Let's go a little bit different with the next one. 212 VIP Black from Carolina Herrera. Carolina Herrera, kind of a weird fragrance house. Not in the sense that they make weird fragrances, but you know, for a while, like the CH Men line, massively popular. The 212 line, massively popular. Nowadays, not really quite as much. Pretty much known as the bad boy fragrance brand, and that's about it. Other than people like you and me, we know about those CH fragrances that they put out and the 212s and all that stuff, right? Yeah. Some of them are better than others, but if we're just talking about overarching popularity, they don't really compete with like this stuff over here, other than bad boy. But if you want to look at the bright side of life, you could say, that's good. That's a nice opportunity because that means I can get something that most other people aren't going to be wearing that still has that mass appeal. Maybe comes across a little bit different than a lot of the other popular things out there nowadays. So note breakdown wise, this one is a little bit odd, at least in the sense of what it has off the top. Absinthe is one of the notes there, as well as fennel. So if that doesn't scream huge compliment puller, I don't know what does. Absinthe and fennel, that's what I look for, man. You lock that down, you're good to go. But of course, that's not all that's in here. There's also lavender, there's vanilla, there's musk as the fragrance dries down. Another one that's gonna be more fall and winter. Frankly, everything I'm talking to you about here today is. This one's got a nice freshness off the top, a little bit of sweetness lingering in there as well, of course, especially as it dries down, that comes out a little bit more. And then licorice kind of hangs out in the background. When you smell this one, you don't necessarily get popped in the nose with licorice, but it's like it's just lingering, hanging out. And on occasion, you'll catch a whiff of it and you'll be like, whoa, what was that? It's got that like that bite to it. Really nice fragrance just for anytime use. Daytime, nighttime, doesn't matter. Overlooked, under-heralded, really good. So I mentioned Stronger With You. Here it is, Stronger With You Intensely from Emporio Armani. You can get this nowadays at full retail in the US for not that much. It actually only recently became available at retailers in the US. Up until then, you had to buy it from discounters and discounters only. Sometimes it'd be a little bit hard to find to be sold out, but nowadays, not a problem. So in terms of the notes, this one has toffee, cinnamon, lavender, vanilla, amber, tonka, little pink pepper and juniper off the top, and a little bit of suede leather in the base as well. Crazy longevity. Stuff lasts forever, projects really heavily, easily gets you noticed. And this one, kind of a market mover. This one, when it came out, it hit pretty well. Then it was like a slow burn. It just kept getting more and more and more popular as time went on. And then you started to see other fragrance companies, other fragrance brands like Azzaro over here, come out with fragrances that were a little bit similar to Stronger With You. Maybe not the exact same, but you could tell like, hey man, you wouldn't have happened to have smelled Stronger With You and then like, I don't know, been inspired by it, were you? And these other brands are like, what? Yes, I did, yeah. So yeah, really popular, changed the game, and this style of like, kind of gourmand, warm, sweet, vanilla-forward men's fragrance, it has become massive. And this is one of the absolute best. Also not too expensive, at least at full retail, compared to other things at full retail. You know what is expensive at full retail though? This, Tom Ford Ombré Leather Parfum. It's also expensive just in general. Discounters, full retail, it don't matter. It's Tom Ford, it's pricey. I remember a long time ago, long time ago, it was like, oh man, I think I want to get myself a Tom Ford shirt. You know, just like a Tom Ford shirt would be super sick. And again, this was a a long time ago. And at the time, I didn't know how much they went for. It's like, yeah, just like a plain t-shirt or something. I'll get to something like that. That didn't happen. To be fair, Tom Ford does have shirts that are less than this, but check out the price on this. I'm gonna come show it to you. Just a short sleeve crew neck. You see that? 350 bones. Don't get me wrong, I know it's Tom Ford, but when I looked that up, I was like, oh, never mind. I'll stick with what I've got, that's okay. So back to this one, ombre leather Parfum, which is cheaper than that t-shirt, so I don't know, maybe it is affordable. Note breakdown wise, you have violet leaf off the top, you have cedar as well, jasmine, iris, leather of course, woods and tobacco, and this is just fantastic. As far as an elegant, sexy, sophisticated leather scent, it's soft, it's smooth, it's supple, it's a little bit sweet, but at the same time, it projects, it lasts. There are fragrances that I have, that I've worn over the past week that are really strong, but maybe not balanced quite as well, right? Maybe too sweet, for example. So when you spray it on, especially if you spray it like on your collarbone, your clavicle, and it just kind of keeps coming up into your headspace, it'll give you a headache. Legitimately, 3-4 days ago, I sprayed a fragrance on, and at first I was like, oh yeah, this is projecting well, this smells nice. And then I started to get almost like a raging headache where it just wouldn't stop. And that sucks. Like that's where projection can sometimes not work in your favor, right? When a fragrance is just a little unbalanced like that. This is nice, this is well done. And even though it does, like I said, project really well, it comes across with like an elegance to it, like it just wafts through the air instead of coming up with brass knuckles on and just blasting you in the face and be like, yo dog, you like my fragrance? This one is more, ooh, smooth. Let's go ahead and talk something that does blast your face though, why not? Paco Rabanne 1 million Elixir. Ah, you thought elixirs were gone? You thought elixirs were done? No sir, we're gonna have even more elixirs in 2025, I guarantee it. So what's doing with 1 million Elixir? Well, this is another fragrance that is vanilla forward. Also has rose in there, has apple, Davana, cedar, and tonka as well. And whereas a lot of these fragrances have either a very gourmand kind of feel to them, or they'll have almost like a sparkly kind of vanilla that jumps off the skin. This one is more creamy. And even though the performance here is outsized compared to most everything else on the market, it's very pleasant, actually. It can be a little much. You know, when I introduced this, I said it kind of pops you in the face, and it does. It's a Paco Rabanne at the end of the day, but it does have a little more versatility than you might expect from a very strong 1 million release. And this is another one that just kind of grows on you over time. You know, you wear it and you grow to appreciate it a lot more, because when I first got this one, I kind of was feeling like, oh, it's just another vanilla fragrance. Like, well, okay, great. But it's one of those ones that as time goes and you give it a chance and wear it some more times, the fragrance starts to become its own thing. And what sets this apart starts to become more noticeable. And then you're like, oh, it's actually nice. It's a little bit different. The rose is really well done. It's not overt, it's not in your face, it's not jammy or anything like that, but it adds nice body to the scent. Like I said, that creamy vanilla, really appealing as well. Just good stuff. Then we have Eros Parfum from Versace. For me, if we're gonna pick just one from that line, the Eau de Toilette, the Eau de Parfum, the Parfum, the original line, not including Flame or Energy. If I were gonna pick just one for myself, I think it'd be Parfum. Now, for a lot of people, maybe the Eau de Parfum is the better choice because it kind of splits the difference between the Eau de Toilette and the Parfum, but for me, I think I'd go for this one. So whereas most of the fragrances I'm talking to you about here today are more fall, wintertime scents, really, Eros Parfum, I think you can use that just about whenever you want, even in summertime. I wouldn't go crazy heavy in summer, but I think you can pull it off. In terms of notes, you've got that mint apple combo that you would expect from an Eros fragrance. You also have lemon in there off the top, a little bit of elemi, black pepper, geranium, lavender, tonka, amber, and vanilla as it dries. It has nice sweetness to it, but it's a little bit deeper here. It's not quite as bubblegummy, not super sugary. Of course, with it being Eros, there's a little bit of that, just not as much compared to the eau de toilette or even the eau de parfum. You can wear this anywhere, anytime, daytime, evening, doesn't matter. You can wear it casually on a date. You could wear this to the office. I wouldn't go crazy heavy, again, because it does have nice performance, projection, longevity. So if you go really heavy, you're gonna be like that cologne guy, and you don't really want that. But worn in moderation, this stuff in the air is magnetic. And if you're looking for one out of everything that I talked to you about here today that could be more of like a grab and go kind of fragrance that you never have to think about, be this one. The last two fragrances are two of my absolute favorites over the last few years. Valentino Uomo Born in Roma Intense is first up. This stuff is fantastic. Vanilla, lavender, vetiver. There's your note breakdown, real simple. Yes, another one that's vanilla forward. It's not too overly sweet though, because that lavender in there, that vetiver in there provides a nice balance. So it's both fresh and sweet at the same time, maybe leaning a little more toward the sweet side of things, but still. Another one that's nearly year round, probably wouldn't wear it in summertime, but you know, fall, winter, spring, day, night, you can pull that off. And kind of like Eros over here, in the air, that stuff works. It's one that's super addictive even to me. Like I've smelled thousands of fragrances at this point. And when I wear that and I catch wafts of it, I'm like, damn, that's good. Just really, really, really nice. And there are a lot of other Born in Roma flankers that are good. Coral Fantasy is very popular, and that's another one that you could wear that has good longevity. But I think if I were gonna pick just one, it'd be this one. And last but not least, another Paco, Invictus Victory Elixir. Remember what I was talking about before? How some fragrances with vanilla have this kind of like sparkly, effervescent opening? That does. That's actually what I was thinking about when I said that. It's a little bit similar to Le Beau from Jean Paul Gaultier, so it's got like a little bit of that in there. Of course, similar to Invictus Victory that came out before that one as well. Along with that vanilla, this one also has tonka, has incense, patchouli, lavender, cardamom, and a little bit of pepper also. That one is one of my go-to fall and wintertime fragrances, period. Like that one is a fragrance that I get a lot of use out of. I enjoy wearing it. A big compliment puller, one of my best personally. And so it's an easy one for me to recommend because this is one, these two here are ones that I just wear about whenever I can. So there we go, guys. 10 different fragrances that are extremely long lasting, great for pulling compliments. If that's what you're looking for, those two things, that's what these will do. Thank you guys for hanging with me. Stay safe out there. I'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys.